There are around 4 million books published every year across traditional and self-published channels. So if you're not already a reader, where do you even begin? I have been back into reading for about 3.5 years and I've read 270 books in that time. So here are 5 books that I think are great for those who are looking to get back into reading. Honestly, my #1 tip would just be to start reading and read anything and everything. Just pick up any book, whether you think you're gonna like it or not, because more than likely you're not gonna like the first few books that you read because you don't know what your reading taste is. Like, the book that got me back into reading was People We Meet on Vacation by Emily Henry, and I honestly didn't even like that book when I read it. It was just the action of reading that I fell back in love with. But if you are still a bit overwhelmed on where to start, here are my 5 books I recommend for beginner readers. So book #1 is technically more, but whatever. It's the Inheritance Games series by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. This is a YA mystery series that is incredibly fast-paced and super intriguing, definitely gonna hook your attention right from page 1. I read all 3 of these in like 5 days. So I think these are perfect for beginner readers because they're super fast-paced and you're less likely to get stuck while reading them. Avery Graham has had a hard life. She is currently in high school and working to make ends meet. She lives with her sister after they lost their mom, when all of a sudden she gets notified that a super mega rich billionaire has passed away and left her absolutely everything. But Avery's never met this man before. So she has to travel to his mansion in Texas and live in his house with all of his family while they're trying to figure out why he's left everything to Avery. And there's so many clues and riddles that you have to unravel to try to figure out what it is about Avery that made him leave her absolutely everything. This is one of my 6-star reads. I absolutely love this series and I literally cried while I was reading this book, not because it was sad, just because I was overwhelmed at the level of detail that Jennifer Lynn Barnes put into these books and how much thought and effort she had to have put in them to create the level of intricacy that you have in the riddles and the puzzles and how everything connects together. Book #2 is Carrie, Soto is Back by Taylor Jenkins Reid. This is a general fiction book following Carrie Soto. Now, she is the best tennis player of all time and she decides to come out of retirement because her title is being threatened. And she doesn't want the new up-and-comers to take her spot, so she decides that she's going to train to get back into the tennis circuit to defend her title. You see her at her best and you see her at her worst, and how much she struggles with her identity and how she feels about herself, and the times that she is worried that she is never going to be able to get to the place where she can defend her title. The idea that all of this would have been for nothing and she just embarrassed herself on the international stage, and how this stress and this journey affects her relationship with others, how it changes her as a person, and how it changes her outlook on the world. Throughout this book, I just found myself thinking a lot about my own life, and I think that's what a good general fiction book does. It just makes you contemplate how your life would look in this scenario and what it would take for you to put in the effort that she does. Even though that this book heavily revolves around tennis, Taylor Jenkins Reid has this ability to write about such a specific thing, but in a way that you're not confused when you read it. Like, I have no knowledge of tennis, but there was never once a time while reading this book that I didn't understand what was going on. This is another one of my 6-star reads, and I do not talk about it enough. I love it. Next we have the Selection series by Kira Cass. I really need to reread this series. I haven't read it again since I read it the first time a couple years ago. This is a YA dystopian series. You're following America Singer, who lives in a society that is heavily ruled by a caste system, and the prince of the land has come of age and it's now time for him to choose a wife. And so they hold a televised competition basically to see who he's going to pick to be his wife. Kind of like The Bachelor, honestly. But any girl from any caste can apply to be a part of this competition. And America, much to her dismay and her misery, gets selected to be a part of this competition. This is another super fast-paced series, and you never know what's gonna happen when you turn the next page, and the romance in this book is immaculate. I love it so much. The next book is When in Rome by Sarah Adams. This is the first book in the When in Rome series. However, it is just an interconnected standalone series, meaning that each book can be read on its own, but you will get little snippets here and there of the couples in the other books. This book follows Amelia, who is a pop star, and she gets tired of her life and decides to drive until her car breaks down in front of Noah's house in a tiny little town called Rome, Kentucky, where she decides to hide out to kind of reset from her life. And it is a very hallmarky book. It's a tiny little town, everybody knows everybody, and yes, in fact, he is a pie maker, as that's his job. It is a sweet, not complicated romance, and so I think it's great for beginners. And last but not least, we have the Hunger Games series by Suzanne Collins. These are my Scholastic special edition copies. If you are looking to get back into reading, it might help you to read a book that you already know how it's going to end, because obviously everybody and their mother knows what this book series is about and what the progression of the events are. If you don't, there are movies that you can go watch to see exactly how this book plays out. I love this series. I have reread it twice since I got back into reading, and I definitely will continue to reread these books until the day that I die. So those are the books that I would recommend for beginners, for those looking to get back into reading. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up to let me know that you enjoyed this type of content. If you are a new reader, comment down below which of these books caught your eye that you are thinking about reading, and if you are not a new reader, comment down below any books that you think are really great for beginning readers. And subscribe to my channel for more bookish content in the future. I hope you have a lovely rest of your week, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.